confidence and all of those other things that you mentioned in the beginning, what helped me a lot is watching a lot of content in English.
Hmm.
I started watching films, I started watching web series, TV shows. That helped me a lot because I understood that the more I heard people speaking in the language, somehow my brain started getting calmer around
Hmm.
people who spoke in English and
Hmm.
around the idea of speaking in English to them.
Hmm.
So try that. That helps a lot sometimes. Try to just surround yourself with English. What I try to tell people is just have the language around you in
Hmm.
visual ways as well. This might seem funny to some people, but what I ask people to do is just have some newspapers, English newspapers, or something on your bedside or
Hmm.
somewhere in your room, right? So when you
Right.
wake up, you somehow catch
Hmm.
a sight of these
Sorry.
alphabets in English, right?
Got
Sometimes
it.
that actually gives a lot of signals to the brain that I know this language. That's why we are not so scared about our mother tongue. We
Hmm.
are not exactly trained to speak in our mother tongue, right? We obviously learn the grammar and all of those things in school later on. But we know how to speak in our mother tongue automatically because we imitate it. We hear it all the time. We are never scared. Even as babies, we're never scared about our mother tongue because we think that we are familiar with this language. Even if we are making errors in it, we don't think much of it. So try to build that kind of an environment around you where you speak in English, you look at English alphabets, you are reading English, you're writing, you're listening. That would help a lot with the confidence.
Got it, ma'am.
Okay. Where would you say, or what would you say are your biggest challenges when it comes to, or if you could choose one, what would you say is your most difficulty
So
challenge? Yeah.
most difficult challenge, let's say there is a almost 10 to 15 people in a meeting room where
Okay.
I need to talk on that
Okay.
spontaneous time. So that time I don't
Hmm.
know how to start, how to
Anxiety.
continue the story,
Hmm.
and like
I understand.
anxiety, like I don't know what other people thinks, and there is a lot of things are going on my mind that point of time.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
that
Right.
kind of anxiety I have in my mind, so I need to overcome that.
I understand. Okay, that's perfectly fine though. That's not a big issue as said. At least I don't look at it as a big issue because there was one point of time I faced this as well, and I have understood that this is something that happens a lot of times when we lack clear practice. Right? Once you start practicing a little, once you get into the habit of speaking to people more and more, I think this anxiety will dilute itself. So you don't have to worry a lot about it in general. What you have to work on, I think, initially is sorting out grammatical difficulties if there are any. Work on your grammatical accuracy and then maybe building up your fluency and confidence little by little. So that is something that I'll try to look at where you are facing problems in today's conversations as well. And if I find out certain recurring mistakes that are happening, I'll surely try to help you out. And at the end, I'll give you some suggestions and tips and tricks to work through this as well. Okay.
Got it, ma'am. Yep.
All right. Before we begin, do you have any question?
No, not at present, but somehow I would like to improve that issue that I mentioned, right?
Sure,
So,
sure,
yeah,
absolutely. That is something you will definitely have to improve at one point of time. I'll give you some suggestions about what to do, what you can do right now to walk through it. But as I said, it's more of a practice-based issue. So
okay,
if you practice mostly, you can, I think you can probably just assume that 80% of your problem will be solved by that. But obviously, there might be some hiccups here and there, which I'll definitely help you through. So don't worry about it. I'll give you some tricks to work through that. Okay.
got it, ma'am. Yep.
That's there. But what I like to do in my sessions, partly to also answer your query, is to divide the class into two parts. In the
Hmm.
first part, I like to do some spontaneous speaking activities. Like you're
Okay.
saying that you're feeling anxious when you speak to people, right? So what we generally tend to focus on is building up confidence. But we
Hmm.
should, I think, build up comfort first, right? So
Hmm.
comfort when you are trying to speak to people so that you don't feel that fear all the time that, okay, now I have to speak to 10 people, 15 people. It should be conversations should be comfortable, right? They should be
Yeah.
spontaneous. They should be easy, just for
Hmm.
the lack of a better word. So we'll try to do some spontaneous speaking activities in the beginning so that you feel comfortable and confident. Confident will come, the confidence will come later on. Don't worry about that. But we'll try to build those through these activities. And once we're done with that, we'll move on to the topic of the day in the second
Sure.
part. Okay.
Sure. Ma'am.
All right. Before we begin, do you have any question?
Nope. We
Okay.
are good to
Let's
go.
okay. Let's begin with a very, very simple activity. Why don't you take me through your daily routine? What do you do every day?
Sure, ma'am. So actually, I wake up at 8:30, and for 1 hour I do exercise and fresh, and after that at 8, around like 9:15 or like around 10, I commute to office, and I reach office at 11. and then like 11 to 6, 7, 8 depends on the tasks that are there in my plate. For that day I will complete all those, and I will have some other meetings as well during that schedule. I complete all those things. If something is pending, I will plan for the next day. And apart from that, I left
Mm-hmm.
office around like 7, 8, depends on the task. And after that I reach home around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so post that I do like some hangout with my friends, or hang like watching some random videos on the YouTube or Instagram. And I slept around like 12. Okay, and this is my daily routine from Monday to Friday. And apart from on weekends especially, I record the sessions, or
Hmm.
else if there is anything planned for my from my colleagues, from friends from different like colleges, school groups, so I go
Right.
there and hang out with friends on during the
Hmm.
weekends. So
Hmm.
that's normal lifestyle that I have.
Right. I understand. Okay, great. So, what would you say is your favorite part of your day?
So my favorite part of my day is like 50-50%. I would like to go 50% to the office. I would like to spend 50% of like day to in my home. Okay,
Yeah.
like that I would like to balance, but right now it's like almost 70 and 30% due to
Hmm.
traveling and traffic, and there is a lot of things especially.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Hmm.
so I would like to manage this way, but
Yeah.
in terms of favorite, I would like to stay at home and hang out with friends and love
Right.
traveling.
Right. I understand. Okay, that's lovely. Okay, so is there any part of your day that you don't like as much? You have to do that, so you are doing it. It's not something you enjoy doing as much.
Yes, especially like there is a meeting scheduled for entire day. Okay, there
Mm-hmm.
is day where I'm not solving any kind of critical problems.
Okay.
Okay, that day I felt like really pissed off. Okay, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get into meeting like I don't want to be a passive listener to like
Right.
every conversation. I
Right.
don't like to invest that my time into that. So because of that,
Hmm.
I feel like very bored. If something is informative, I'm more interested in, then I will enjoy a lot. And
Hmm.
that's where I feel like I'm missing something on everyday basis.
Right, I understand. One thing that I want to just correct is that when you are talking about something that happens generally, like if this happens, then I get angry. But instead, or I don't like it. Instead of that, I don't remember the exact construction, but you said that when this happens, I got angry, or I felt bad, or
Hmm.
I felt
Hmm.
angry, right? So when you're talking about a general thing, then the verb should also be in simple present tense. Because if it happens tomorrow, you'll also feel bad, right? You'll
Hmm.
feel
Hmm.
angry, you'll feel frustrated. So the
Hmm.
same. Okay. All
Got
right.
it.
Okay. So now we are going to do an activity that I like to call the emotions game. So I'm going to ask you about some of your emotions one by one. You have to tell me what makes you feel that emotion.
Sure.
Okay. So yes, let's start with happiness. What makes you feel happy?
So spending a quality time with family and friends, that makes me
Right.
happy.
Okay. All right. What makes you feel angry?
Angry, like I don't felt angry that much, but sometimes some people don't listen to me. That time I felt very angry, but sometimes I would like to rectify that problem with like having some kind of patience. So somewhere I between I felt very angry that point of time.
Okay, I understand. What makes you feel frustrated?
Frustrated, like sitting long hours, especially in the like instead of 8 hours, if I extend that working hours to 10, 11, 12, then I felt very frustrated that point of time due to a lot of parameters actually that affect on my body and
Hmm.
my environment especially. So because of that, I felt very frustrated at that point of time.
I understand. Okay. What makes you feel scared?
Feel scared. I don't think so. I felt any kind of
Oh,
scared.
you
Like
don't?
suddenly, lion came in front of me. That time I felt scared.
Suddenly a lion, right? One lion,
uh,
or it can be many as well, but I am assuming you mean one lion. So
yeah.
suddenly a lion comes in front of me, then you don't have to use past tense for this, right? Because this has not happened to you. You are saying that
Yeah.
if this happens, I might feel scared. So if a lion comes in front of me, then I might feel scared. Okay?
Yeah. Got it.
All right, yes. Next one. What makes you feel jealous?
Jealous. So I whenever I compare a lot of people, okay, especially like on my work life as well as my personal thing, where
Hmm.
someone like we started the journey at the same time, but sometimes the other people got more rewards
Hmm.
compared to me, then I felt jealous. Otherwise, it's like I would like to run a simple life.
Right. I understand. Okay. What makes you feel sad?
What makes me feel sad, like when sometimes while during day-to-day activities, sometimes I felt very bored. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I was doing a lot of procrastination and
Mm-hmm.
spending my time like everywhere, like I'm not interested, but still I'm spend a lot of time in like a lot of things, and that time I felt very sad, like especially if I like count on that day, then I will felt very sad.
Right, I understand. Okay, so now again, when you're using continuous tenses, sometimes you're missing the am or the was, right? That time I feeling sad, I am feeling sad, or just go with simple present tense, I feel sad. Similarly, again, whatever I told you, that for general situations, if this happens all the time or something that will happen cyclically, regularly, it will happen tomorrow as well. If this condition is fulfilled, you have to use simple present tense for that. Don't use past tense for that. Past tense is used for something that happened in the past. We don't know if
Okay,
that would be repeated. Right? For example,
got it.
I ate biryani yesterday, but in
Hmm.
general, every day for lunch, I eat rice. So I eat
Hmm.
rice, I ate biryani. Okay?
Hmm.
Clear?
Got it. Got it, ma'am. But ma'am,
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
more thing. Sorry to
Hmm.
interrupt in
No
between.
worries. Yeah. Hmm.
So while you're asking a question, I'm trying to give my answer.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that point of time, I was not able to think whether I'm making
I
the
know.
proper sentence with the
Yes.
grammatical error. These
Yes.
these things I do every single day while
Hmm.
sending an
Hmm.
email, while chatting with the colleagues in the office. I do this kind of grammatical error,
I know,
especially.
I know.
I would
So
like to
what you
rectify
have
that.
to do is you have to just be a little cautious and you have to be conscious. It might hamper your fluency or your pace in the beginning, but I would say just be cautious a little. Just be conscious and try to practice writing a little. That helps a lot with problems like this, especially tenses. If you practice, say you're practicing writing on something like my everyday routine at my office, so that would help a lot with I think just looking at where you are making these mistakes, revising them, rewriting them, that helps a lot because with writing you don't have an audience to cater to.
Hmm.
You're not writing to someone, right? You're writing
Yeah.
by yourself, which is not exactly the case with speaking, where you
Hmm.
have an audience, you have a listener. So it becomes difficult to think all the more on the spot, right? But when you're writing, you don't have that problem. You are writing in solitude. You also have time to revise, again something that's not available while you are speaking. So that is something I would suggest you take full help of. Try to write a little, try to practice mending your tenses, and when you're
Hmm.
speaking as well, of course, speak to yourself as well. Practice some self talk. That would help a
Got it.
lot with just seeing where you are facing these problems. Okay, so if you can
Got
just
it.
talk a little on this, and when you are speaking, just being conscious. When you are speaking, just think: should I use is here? Should I use was here? Should I use simple present and simple present? That might again slow you down a little in the beginning, but once you understand, once it becomes muscle memory, it will become easier. Okay.
Got it,
All
ma'am.
okay.
Sure.
So on that note, let's go to the topic of the day, which is about screen time today and digital well-being, basically. Okay.
Sure. Yep.
All right. Okay. So let's start with the idea of screen time. What do you think about screen time? Do you think we should all have a particular amount of hours that we should only be allowed access to the screen, any form of screen, or what is your opinion on it?
So it depends on person to person, especially
Mm-hmm.
like as a software engineer, I would spend a lot of time on laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where my screen time was like almost like 8 to 10 hours. Okay, every
Mm-hmm.
single day, where I don't compromise on that. And apart from that, if I talk about normal person, then I believe like depends on the screen time, like whether we are using a mobile or a laptop. If you are using laptop, then will be a productive. Like if you are working specially to the productive work, then it will be productive. And
Hmm.
apart from that, if you spend sometimes on like watching something, it's also productive to refresh your mind. But
Hmm.
we need to stick some screen time for every single day. Okay, let's say
Right.
myself, I'm spending like 2 hours binge watch of web series. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that time I felt like I'm spending a lot of screen time. It hurts my
Yeah.
health. Okay,
Yeah.
and so apart from 2 hours and 1 hour I'm spending on Instagram, and it's
Hmm.
almost total 3 hours where I'm using myself to addict to the social media and other
Right.
peripheral things. And
Right.
it has huge impact in my future regarding my health. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I believe everyone should accountable of their screen time, whether like if you would like to spend like 1 hour 3 hours, depends on your time permits. Based on that you will take your decision.
Hmm. Right. Okay. Yes, I understand. All right. Now, what is